Hi everyone and welcome to day 20 of the Papercraft Society Advent Calendar. Today I'll be opening up wallet number 20 and sharing some inspiration with you to use all these lovely crafty goodies. So let's have a look at box 20, or wallet 20 I should say. So I'm going to use these gorgeous sequins to create a shaker gift box, and I'll be using day 14 and day 19 and some nesting dies to create this. So let's get started. So this is day number 14, this lovely floral and foliage embossing folder from Card Making Magic. And then there's a coordinating stamp then in day 19. So same floral images there and foliage. And you also got thinking of you, best wishes and hello. So I thought these would work lovely together. To create the reinforced lid, you need a piece of 9 5/8 by 9 5/8, and you want to score at 1.5 and 3, and then you rotate and again score at 1.5 and 3. So you want to do that for all 4 sides. Then you want 2 pieces of 7.5 by 8.5, and along the 7.5 inch side you're going to score at 1/2 and 4. Then rotate your cardstock and score at 5. So let's work on the base of the gift box first of all. So you want to fold and burnish along the score lines. All the folds are mounting folds, so just go ahead and do that on both pieces. I'm just going to bring in my scissors. So with your 1/2 inch tab here on the left hand side, we're going to work left to right. So come across to the first score line on the bottom and you want to cut up to the first score line. Rotate your cardstock and remove that piece completely, like so. Then move your way across to the next score line and cut up to the first score line. This piece is going to be our back or our front, so I'm just going to take wedges out of this larger square here on the right hand side, like so, and then rotate and take a wedge off this tab and this tab. So if I just move everything to one side, you need to have 2 pieces that look like this. So there's my additional panel. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and attached the mats and layers, but I'm going to go through those pieces with you now and show you how I achieved this look. So I have a piece of white cardstock that measures 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and that's going to sit inside that panel there. Then to go on top of that, I have a piece of 3 by 4.5. So you want 4 white pieces and 4 blue pieces for your mats and layers. So before I attach the rest of the mats and layers, I just want to show you what I did. So I placed my panel inside my embossing folder, run that through my die cutting machine, so I'll just go ahead and do that now. So there's my panel now embossed. I just love this embossing folder, it's got some gorgeous detail on it, hope you can see that. And I'm just going to bring in some white pigment ink. So I just got this small ink pad here, and all I did was gently brush the ink pad over the top of the embossed panel. So if you just hold that up now, you can see more of that lovely detail, and I think it just adds a little bit of extra colour, as I said, onto that panel. So next I'm going to go ahead and attach my mats and layers to my second side piece, and then we'll work on the assembly. So I now have all my mats and layers attached, and I'm going to add some quick grab glue along this 1/2 inch panel, and we're going to attach both pieces together now to assemble the base of the gift box. So you want to line these up and make sure that your bottom score line marries up on both pieces. So I just like to flip mine over, just burnish that with my bone folder. So I'm going to turn this right side up, fold over this end panel and add quick grab glue again to this 1/2 inch tab. And fold the opposite side over. So once they're attached, you want to decide if you have a preference on your front or back. So I'm going to make this my front. So this will be the last square that I fold down. So I'm going to fold the opposite side down first. I'm going to add some Collal all-purpose glue. And then just fold that last edge over and everything should marry up. So I'm just going to place this to one side, let that dry, and next we're going to work on the lid. So let's start by folding and burnishing those score lines. So again, all folds and mounting folds. Next we're going to do some trimming, starting on any side, but I'm going to work left to right. You want to come across to the first score line and cut up past the first to the second. Rotate your cardstock and remove those 2 squares there, like so. While you still have it at this direction, come up to the first score line and cut up to that next score line. So just free that piece up, then rotate it back to its original position and remove that square, and then also cut up to the next score line. So we've then got this piece here. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So you've got one side that looks like this. So I'm going to rotate and do exactly the same on this side. So you're left with a piece that looks like this. Now all we're going to do is take some wedges off these 4 tabs. So just take a wedge off each side like so, and then we want to take a very thin slither from the 4 outer rectangles. So starting on any side, just going to take a slight wedge. Next I'm going to bring in the Creative Craft Products Notched Edge Square Nestables. So I've selected 2 dies that sit nicely inside this 3.5 inch square, like so. So I'm going to take the smallest die and I'm going to use this to cut an aperture in the lid of the gift box. I'm just going to place that in the center as best I can, just by eye, and tack that down using the Creative Craft Products low tack tape. Now as it stands, this is too large to go through the die cutting machine, so all I'm going to do is just fold these 2 sides in, and now that will fit through. The aperture won't affect these 2 side pieces. So I'm just going to run this through now and then I'll come back to you. So now that we've removed the aperture, next we're going to work on the shaker part of the lid, and then we'll add the mats and layers and do the final assembly of the lid. I find that it's easier to work on a flat surface, especially when you're adding any shaker elements and also adding those mats and layers. So I cut the aperture with the smaller die. Next I've got the next size up and I tacked them together again using the tape, and I've run this through my die cutting machine several times. So I like to use fun foam when I'm creating a shaker. So I've cut 2 pieces of fun foam in white, and I've cut 2 pieces of white cardstock. So hopefully you're seeing that okay. So two of the frames in fun foam, 2 in white cardstock, and I've attached them together. I've then used the largest die and I've cut 2 pieces of acetate. So I've got one for the bottom that will sit over the aperture like so, and one for the top that will hold all the shaker pieces inside. So just to save a bit of time, I've gone ahead and I've attached the fun foam, the acetate and the white frame to both these pieces. This one is my bottom piece where I've added red tape along the edges to attach to this aperture. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Next, I'm going to bring in all these lovely shaker pieces and just pop some inside. Then I'm going to use quick grab glue and attach the final layer on top. So I've stamped the sentiment best wishes and I've used one of these smaller notch squares to cut that out. So for the mats and layers, I've cut 4 pieces that measure 3 1/4 by 1 1/4, and for the blue pieces I've cut 4 that measure 3 by 1. So they are going to be added to the inner panel there, like so. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach those now. I'm also going to attach my sentiment best wishes. I'm going to pop that up onto some foam and add that in the center there. So there's all my mats and layers now attached. Let's work on the final step of assembling the lid. And as you can see, those shaker pieces move lovely inside there. So I flip this over. I'm going to add quick grab glue to one of the tabs and just bring these sides up and form that really nice square edge. And I'm just going to work my way around now and do the same for the rest of the 4 tabs. So now we've attached all 4 corners, we're going to fold these over. This will hide all the tabs and reinforce the lid. So you want to add some glue along this panel here. I'm using Collal glue again to strengthen that lid, and just fold that over. So once that's attached, I'm going to work my way around now and finish the 3 remaining sides. So there's all 4 sides now attached together. I'm going to pop that on top of my box. So I hope you've enjoyed the inspiration from me today, creating this gorgeous shaker gift box with this beautiful embossing detail, and that's using day 14, 19 and 20.